some of my fondest moments with Rucker. I worked with Rucker a long time in the wine industry, and he really was basically my mentor. He was the person who gave me my first job in the wine biz, which I still do now. And he asked me to come interview with him at Whole Foods Market in Austin, Texas, when I was 28, 29, and he was eating a sandwich. And I never met him ever. And of course, he had this big long goatee, and he was eating a very messy, but obviously very delicious sandwich because he just couldn't stop eating it. During our interview, asked me all kinds of questions, and at one point in the interview, he had to stop and tell me that it was got to be the most delicious sandwich he'd ever had, and he just begged me to have a bite of it with him. So I was reticent because it was dripping all over him, and it was super juicy, and I mean, it looked great, sure, but it was just everywhere, and he said, you gotta have a bite of it, you have to have a bite of this sandwich. And I was just certain it was one of those interview trick questions where, if you didn't have a bite, maybe, it meant something about your personality or something. So I took a bite of the sandwich, just so worried that one of his big long white beard hairs was going to be in it. And it was fine. It was delicious, sure. But of course, right after that, I'd actually been interviewing for a couple other jobs. And I made what turned out to be a wrong decision later, but I had accepted a different job and realized really soon after I accepted it that it was the wrong choice for me. And I called Rucker up, not even 24 hours later, and I said, Rucker, I fucked up. I think that I really would like the opportunity to maybe re-interview or would you offer me the job again, or anything I can do to maybe have this opportunity again. And he said, what? Well, hell yeah, you can come back. You're hired. Fuck it. Yeah. And he hired me on the spot. And it was definitely a pivotal moment in my life, for sure. I have another story too, if you want to. Should I just go for it? Okay. I might put these two together, but two other moments that I think really embodied who Rucker was is that well, let's see, what was the next one? Well, one was that he was always positive. He was always positive, and I've struggled with that. I'm a little bit more of a pragmatist, and he hired me to come work in the spirits portion of the wine biz, essentially, when he started that role. And I came into his office one day, and I was just griping about some supplier, some brand, something. And he acted real annoyed with me, and I'd never seen that from him. He always was just so happy to be around me and talk and chat and be an influence on me that I was like, what's up with this? He's never been like this to me. And he was like, Sarah, there's no end to people can talk shit about everybody. There's always something to gripe about, but why can't we just have fun? Let's just have fun, be nice. There's no reason to talk about it. And I really took that to heart because, there's a lot of reasons to gripe and be mad at people in the industry or in any job you're at. And the real point for him was like, we're doing what we love. We're here to have fun together and learn and be friends. And it's more fun to just enjoy the good parts and just ignore the bad parts. And I think he really embodied that until the day he died. And then the last thing I'll say is when I got married, I was out of my mind. I was a probably crazy bride. And he was very patient with me until I was trying to catch up on work. And he said that I hadn't been answering emails fast enough. And I was like, I felt terrible making him not proud of me. I always just wanted to make him proud because he'd just been such a great influence for me. And he called me early one day, and I answered the phone, and he was like, Sarah, have you had your coffee yet? And I was like, no, I'm answering the phone the second I wake up, Rucker. Anything I can do. I was just trying to go above and beyond. And he was like, well, let me offer you some advice. Do me a favor, and just don't answer the damn phone before you have some coffee because you're mumbling. I can't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. So I have taken that advice to heart too. I don't answer the phone before coffee anymore because of Rucker. So I just wanted to say that, and I love you guys.
My name is Gary Angel, and my daughter grew up with Monica, and so I met Rucker when my daughter was 5, I guess, or 6, and one of the early memories that I remember of Rucker was that he either told me or Monica did Jessica. Jessica told me, but Rucker would imitate a Russian accent and say, "I am a Russian spy." And from that moment on, he was my guy. And ever since then, I've wanted to go to Russia. I've wanted to learn Russian accent. I've wanted to learn Russian. And so his memories always stayed with me. And plus, meeting him every now and then, I knew how special he was. He just exuded just a friendliness and a warmth that no one else did.
Marianne, just want to tell you that the last 5 years with you and Rucker, knowing y'all together, riding motorcycles, hanging out, watching you tie up his beard when we're riding and untie it when we get where we're going, it's just been a pleasure for Dina and I. But then back in the day, when Rucker was playing football at Plano, and I was a nobody on the JV playing sausage squad, secondary, and the varsity was on their way to state, and Rucker would run through the line and come up to me, and instead of running over me, he just stiff-armed me down on the ground, take it easy on me. I always appreciated that about him. He's always been a gentle giant, and he's still a gentle giant in heaven. Love you, Marianne.
I'm Darlene, and Rucker and I have been friends since Happy Time Kindergarten. We were 5, and I've already talked about this in front of all these people, but I'm going to talk again because I know you guys want this. When we were young, it was me and Rucker and Anson. We were kind of a trio hanging out. We went roller skating together and did everything together. Martha and my sister were friends. His sister was Sissy and my sister was Sister, and we all were together a lot because of that. And I was there for the baseball behind the house and in the tree house and in the sand pile, and they didn't like a girl around, but I was there. And then in 3rd grade, our 3rd grade teacher, Miss Moss, put me and Rucker and Anson up by her desk. She said, "I've got to set you 3 right here because you never stop talking or laughing." And we didn't. We never stopped talking. We never stopped laughing because we just had so much fun together. And Rucker and Anson would come over to the house and we'd play chase and just had fun. And then later on, "Ronnie, you need to quiet down." And so then it was me and Rucker and Peter after 7th grade. And Peter, even though he moved to Kansas, would come back every year and spend time with me and Rucker and other people. And me and Rucker and Karen and Pete would hang out at my dad's at the farm and drink moonshine together in the cotton field. And then there was college and all of that time together with Dwight and Susan and Brad and Karen and all of us. And then he and Patty got married after college eventually, and we hung out with him and Patty, and I was around for their first baby, Aubrey, and Aubrey's wedding, and then down the road came Marianne, and I was still a part of that too, another trio. I loved Rucker and Marianne. They even came and painted some of the rooms in my house I built. But mostly I just loved Rucker. He was just a lifetime friend, and I wanted to share that. Oh, and I need to tell you that in 6th grade, Kathy Henley beat him and Vic in a race. This tall, black, thin girl beat Rucker and Vic. So don't forget that. And Galen beat him in the 4th grade. So there. He was the best athlete, but he did get beat by some girls.
Yes, my name is Travis McIntyre. Very briefly, there's a lot of things that Rucker and I had a chance to share, but one of the most memorable that I will never forget as sophomores, Rucker Lewis, Mike Avery, and myself, we were the first 3 sophomores to make the varsity team. This one evening during tour days, we came down for practice, and our equipment had gotten moved somewhere. We didn't know at the time. and come to find out that our equipment had gotten moved to the varsity dressing room. And us three were the first sophomores to make it to the varsity team. In that particular year, we won the state championship. But those memories I will never ever forget. And that's what I remember about my friend Rucker.
Hi, this is Jennifer and Chuck, and we just wanted to share just a little bit about Rucker. We hadn't known him for just a few years, and from the moment we met, he and Marianne at the historic McKinney Neighborhood Association, we fell in love with them. We've shared many happy party times, and just whether it was Chuck's birthday or my birthday, or just having a glass of wine.
Or many glasses of wine.
Many glasses of wine. We wish there would have been more time, and just want to say how much we love Rucker, and we'll miss him, and know that he's always with us and shining down on all of us.
That's it.
Well, my name's Mark, and I knew Rucker a long time. I met Rucker in 1967, and we played football forever. But I've got a really good story to tell when we were in Austin. And we went to the Broken Spoke, and it was $1. It may have been 50 cents, but maybe not. It was $1 margarita night. And Rucker and I were just having the greatest time. And we looked at each other, and about halfway through the evening, we saw Steve Fromholz, which was kind of an odd act at the time. And we decided for the rest of the night, we would speak Spanish to each other. And so Rucker and I, we got in his red VW Beetle, and we went home. And the whole way back, all we did was speak Spanish, and it was very crappy Spanish. But one of the funniest parts was we had taken Spanish together in high school, and we knew about maybe 6 or 7 phrase words that was kind of cool for Spanish. And so we would be going down the road, and I said, Rucker, soy la esta papas fritas es biblioteca, which in our minds mean turn left at the library and they turn French fries. Well, that was not entirely the case, but we went entirely to home that way, and Rucker would laugh. I mean, he was so fucking laughing. He would not quit. And that Rucker never told a joke in his life. I knew him since 1966, and he never told a joke. But he loved to laugh. And I mean, that whole way back, all we did when because we had the same Spanish teacher in high school, and it was just hilarious how we just made shit up as we went on. So I know that's pretty weak, but you'll never hear this again. So Rucker, I won't tell you about the time you had a quarter pound of pot in your pocket and then the Highland Park police arrived. Adios.
This might be a long story, but I grew up with Rucker from kindergarten on with probably a dozen other people, and we went through grade school, went through high school, and kind of went our other separate ways in college. But really, the memories that I had were mostly golf the last few years, and we were members of Hurricane Creek, and so more of a character thing. Rucker and I played in the member guest tournament many times in the last 7 years, and one of the things that I remember is him and I, the last tournament, hitting a lot of really bad shots, two-man scramble versus two-man scramble, hitting really bad shots, and Rucker was hitting a lot of bad shots. I was hitting a lot of bad shots, so I said, Rucker, why don't we get us a Bloody Mary? And I said, that's about number 9. And I said, maybe it'll turn us around and and we'll start doing better. So we had a Bloody Mary. We went to number 10, number 11, and started teeing off, and didn't get much better. So about number 14, he was hitting a bad shot, I was hitting a bad shot, and he hit one, shook his head, went back to the cart. I just looked up at him. I said, Rucker, I said, you know, you have got to get mad. I said, you never get mad at anybody, you never talk about anybody. I said, throw a club, hit the cart, break a club, whatever you need to do just to get mad. And we started laughing, and we went in after the round, lost of course, but had a couple of beers, and it was a great round. So I always remember him for golf, but I always remember him for all the way back to kindergarten years. So thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Bobby Pritz. My family moved to Plano in 1964. And I guess on my second or third day here or there in Plano when we moved is the day that I met Rucker. Probably the second friend I've ever had. Is my second oldest friend in Plano. And, you know, while we can tell jokes and we all remember funny things and those kind of stories about Rucker, I want to talk about a couple of things that talk about Rucker's generosity and his character. We know that some of our life traits are taught to us early and while we were young or when we were young. Rucker, as we all know, was a tremendous athlete. I was a wannabe athlete, and I wanted to play baseball. And I wanted to be just like Rucker and all the other guys that were playing baseball that I was witnessing back then. I didn't have any baseball shoes. Well, Rucker, I guess we were 10 years old, gave me from his own garage my first pair of baseball shoes. He had known me for 2 months, and why he did that I didn't know then. I do know now it was because he was being taught generosity, and he demonstrated that throughout his life. A second story talks about Rucker's character, which we know which as far as I know is impeccable. I don't have any reason to believe otherwise. However, this one night when I think we were all 15, and I lived down the street from Jeff Wolverton. Several of us that went to Plano High School, me and Chris Pease and Jeff Wolverton and a whole bunch of others, lived within like one block of each other. So this one night, fall night, we were at Jeff Wolverton's house for a party. Now, Rucker at that time had his eyeball on this girl in Canyon Creek. Sorry, Tanner Lee, but this is funny. So Rucker decided that we needed to go see this girlfriend. Well, none of us had a driver's license. We weren't old enough to drive. But me, being the generous guy I was, and living right down the street with my parents gone, knew that there was a car available for us to take to Canyon Creek to see Rucker's girlfriend, right? So me and Rucker and Jeff Brumball went down to my house with my parents gone. Lights are off, right? So we go in the house, get in the garage. My dad had this Fiat convertible. Well, we put the top down, we got in there, and we started cruising toward Canyon Creek. Now, the street that we were on ran parallel to Jeff Wolverton's house where we were at that party. My dad's car, that little Fiat, had unusual and unique sounding horn. And while we were in there trying to figure out how to get to Canyon Creek from where we were, somebody hit that horn, and the unique sounding horn went off. About that same time, my parents, who were out for the evening, stopped by Jeff Wolverton's house to let me know that they weren't going to be where they were, that they were going somewhere else, and they wanted me to know that. Well, of course, the people at the party said, "Hey, Bobby's not here. He and Rucker and Jeff Brumball went somewhere." So that kind of got my dad and mom kind of worrying, so they went home, where they found, of course, that the car was missing. Coincidentally, about that time, we found out that we didn't have enough money to buy gas and replace the gas that we would have used, so my dad wouldn't know that the car was taken, right? So we turned around and went back home. And as we were driving down the alley to return the car to the driveway, we noticed that there were lights on in the house. They didn't have any lights on when we left, but there they were, and we know, oh my God, this is not going to be good. So we turned the lights off on the car, we turned the engine off, we put it in neutral, and we started pushing it down the driveway. Now my dad was kind of expecting something was going on, and looking out the kitchen window, he saw that somebody was pushing the car down the alley and was being prepared to encounter those people. And so we turned the car into the driveway and into the garage, where we had left the garage door open. And then the light turns on, and then there's my dad standing there pointing his finger at us. And he was mad, madder than I've ever seen my dad before then or since then. Jeff Brumbaugh went his way. I got in my share of trouble, and Rucker went his way. Now, about an hour from that, of course, we were really hurt, and we knew that we screwed up and did something real bad. But unbeknownst to us, Rucker had gone home. Actually, Rucker called his mother to say, look, we need to go over to Bobby Pritz's house and talk to his parents, because here's what we did. And he talked his mother into coming over. They went in the living room with my mom and dad and sat down, and Rucker confessed what he did. That confession was unsolicited. If he hadn't said anything, nobody would ever knew. But Rucker was better than that. And I'm 63 years old and remember that story like it was last night, like it was yesterday, and because it made an impression on me. And that's the kind of character that Rucker had, carrying through his entire life. I wanted to share that with you, Lewis family. I hope that I hope that is as heartwarming to you listening to it as it is for me telling it. Godspeed, Rucker Lewis, and God love you, Rucker family, or Lewis family. The Rucker Lewis family. How about that?
Okay, I'm Mark Gassaway, and I moved to Plano in '69. And I wasn't a football player. I did try to play football the first year, but in that first year of playing football, I learned who Rucker Lewis was. He was a year older than me. And next year in 1970, I went up to play tennis one evening with my best friend Don Kroon, and Brad Williams and Rucker were up at the tennis courts. So we challenged them to a doubles match in tennis. None of us really played tennis, but we were just out to have some fun that night. And I was in awe of the fact that I was playing tennis against Rucker Lewis, the Rucker Lewis. And so I was going to show him what a great athlete I was. And the first ball that came over the net, I hit as hard as I could hit it. And that ball hit Rucker square in the eye socket. Took him to the ground, took him to his knees. And I instantly thought, oh my God, oh no. This guy is so much bigger than me, he's going to rip me to pieces. I ran across to him and I said, Rucker, I'm so sorry. I started apologizing. He stood up and he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, man, do not worry about it. He instantly diffused it and just made me feel so good. And instantly I knew who Rucker Lewis was at that minute. I knew he was a football player, but at that point I knew he also was a gentleman with integrity and a kind heart. And so we assumed the game was over, but Rucker stood up and his eye was swollen shut. He couldn't see. There's tears or water running down his face, and I thought, Rucker, we don't have to keep playing. He said, no, man, we're gonna play tennis. And so we did. We continued to play tennis that night. This racket is from 1970. This is a racket that hit the ball that struck Rucker in the eye socket. I've kept it all these years because I wanted to hold on to that memory. And tonight, Marianne, I want you to have it. And if you'd like to hang it on your wall and just think, hope it reminds you, like you don't need her memory, of who Rucker was. God bless you guys. I'm praying for you, and we're all going to spend eternity with Rucker. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
My name is Maggie Johnson from the class of 1974. Oh my gosh. What I want to say about Rucker Lewis is he was the prettiest boy in our class. Can I say pretty in 2019 and not get it twisted? That man was beautiful. The cheerleaders loved him, the drill team loved him, the hoes loved him. Hell, the pimps loved him too, but for a different reason. Because he could attract the girls. Y'all don't know this. I can't tell you all the secrets. But when you pretty or as beautiful as Rucker, let's just say you can just about have any. Let me just say this. You could have whatever you want, okay? Just use your imaginations, because when you come from a school where you have a reputation of winning 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A championships, go Wildcat. That's what Rucker had on all the girls. Go Rucker.
Thank you.
Returning for round 2. What these ladies standing put to my left are wanting me to say is how much they wanted to give him some. Now, what some is? Hey, if some children is watching, let's say some candy. So they wanted to give Rucker some candy, cause your grandpa, your daddy, that's a beautiful man. Y'all got some candy for Rucker? Did y'all get, I just had one question. Did y'all give Rucker any candy? That's all I want to know. That's all I got to say. They made me do it. The devil made me do it.
I'm going to share a story about the first time I heard the name Rucker Lewis. I went to Meadows Elementary School in Plano, moved there in 1966. And we had a competition with Mendenhall, which was the old legacy. Mendenhall was the new, or Meadows was the new school. And I remember talking about this competition, and we thought, well, we had Doyle Terry. He's fast. I said, no, they have Rucker Lewis. So I remember seeing Rucker Lewis for the first time, and I thought, oh my God, this guy is an incredible athlete. And he really was. And as I got to know Rucker through sports and football through Plano, and at one time I thought I was going to be his personal manager when he went to UT and on into the professional world. We had a good relationship, but it got better the more I was around him. Rucker had a passion about him that is indescribable. He was ultra competitive. Whatever it was, he wanted to master it. He wanted to be the best. I had the good privilege of playing with him in a golf tournament here recently, a couple years ago at Hurricane Creek, and we bonded through some additional time at the CWO. So over a 50-plus year time frame, I got to say he's an incredible man, somebody I'm going to miss, and I'm a better person for having known him. So, Marianne, Tanner Lee, and the rest of the Lewis family, you got a great legacy with you. God bless you, and I hope to see you again soon.
So nice out here. Okay, this is Lisa Turner and Karen Turner, and we used to go camping every year in Florida on Fort Walton Beach in Destin, Florida.
Spring break.
Yay! We crabbed, we did everything, but well, I'll have to tell about the yellow bathing suit after I tell about we buried each other in the sand one year, and I mean, like the big brother would do. We have Rucker under the sand, we've got Karen under the sand, they bury me in the sand, and I mean, literally, we're talking face.
Yeah.
And Rucker starts jumping up and down on me and laughing like a big brother would do, and I'm like, are you serious? I'm dying underneath there. It really kind of hurt. And I started crying, I'm sure. But anyway, but then one year we're in Florida, and oh, Karen was so proud of this yellow bikini that she got. Mother was so proud of it. Everybody was so proud of it. And Rucker was really proud of it when she went swimming and came out, and it was see-through, sort of. Like, sort of, yeah, a lot. You could see a lot.
It was not good. It was not good.
My daddy took her down to the camp store and bought her a smiley face
A white
top.
t-shirt with a big smiley face.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wanted one of those smiley face
He
shirts
saved
so
the day.
bad, but my bathing suit wasn't see-through.
One of the at the Brownwood Ranch that she was referring to,
talking, we would hunt and do all these fun things. So I had gotten Rucker a 357 Magnum Ruger for Christmas. I had that same dang bathing suit on, I think, and a holster and a 357 and boots, and we're hunting, and all of a sudden I see my mom on the other side of a pond and a rattlesnake goes off, and I'm running like, Mom, with a 357, and he's chasing me like, oh my God, she's gonna kill somebody. I should have never put that gun in my hands. We have so many good stories.
We do.
No, I was scared to death. Okay, so that we had a swimming pool over, what's it called, Spring Creek or
Spring
something?
Creek swimming pool.
And it was between 7th and 8th grade, and everybody loved Rucker. So
Everybody did.
we would be swimming, and mainly we would be staring at Rucker.
Yeah.
Doing, backward flips and all kinds of
She
dives.
used me for a pawn.
I did.
And I didn't even know it.
She was my bait. And so we all stared at him, and we started going together right after that and stayed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what happened.
But Steve Williams just walking out here reminds me that another thing that was so fun, because Lucinda, his little sister, was in my class, and we were really good friends because we went to church together. And so if it was our turn to spend the night at the Williams house, Rucker lived 2 doors down, like he was saying, and Rucker tormented us and scared us in the middle of the night. He would come and bang on the windows and stuff, and we thought people were going to break in, and we're screaming. And Miss Williams, Steve's mom, was my first grade teacher. And I mean, here's Lucinda and me in the bedroom, 2 cute little blonde girls. But Rucker just, he was a big brother. That's all he was. So
He was the best.
He was.
The nicest guy in the world.
Yep.
Not a mean bone. Just
and everybody here
humble.
says, everybody thinks, he treated us all like we were his best friends. And Karen Spees was saying, yeah, everybody thinks that he was their best friend, but he was really my best friend. And we all say that. And I said, well, that's fine. He can be your best friend. He's my brother. So, one up on you, girl.
Love Rucker.
But he did. He absolutely loved me.
He did.
He did. I think he
Really
stayed
did.
with Karen for me.
When we broke up, she didn't speak to me for a year, and neither did my parents.
I was going to disown her.
Honestly.
It broke my
I was the black
heart.
sheep.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, what a
No.
great guy.
I have a curly-headed grandson named Louis. And Rucker's seen the picture. So, all right.
I call this friendship of a lifetime. It was the summer of 1960. We had moved to Plano the previous year. We were preparing to move into our new house on End Place, near Mendenhall Elementary School. We went to look at the new house. As we drove up, we were greeted by a blue-eyed, curly, blonde-haired boy riding a bicycle. He rode over to me to say hello. He asked me what my name was. I answered Steve. He replied, my name is Steve too, but they call me Rucker. I live 2 doors down at the end of the street. And he asked me, how old are you? I said, I proudly answered, I'm 5 years old. He said, me too. And I asked, and I wondered, how are you able to ride a bike if you're only 5 years old? And he answered, I just got on it yesterday and started riding. That was the beginning of a lifelong friendship which has spanned more than 58 years with Stephen Rucker Lewis. I was quickly indoctrinated into the world of little cars when he asked me if I wanted to play. So we went to Mrs. Lewis's pantry, and there in the bottom, there are no less than 50 or 60 toy cars and trucks. You could probably deduce the rest of the story when you can take into account the imaginations of 2 rambunctious 5-year-old boys. There was no end of wrecks and traffic jams. And of course, all the cars had to stop at Leon's Gulf Station to fill up. At the end of the summer of 1960, we started to school at Happy Time Kindergarten. I see a few of you here today who will remember Happy Time. Rucker and I liked recess the best. The preacher's daughter kissed me one day on the playground during recess. Rucker thought that was just hilarious, and he reminded me all the way into our adulthood. That year, I was also introduced to the tree house in Rucker's backyard. It was just big enough for 2 boys to hide in. Later, Mr. Lewis had a dump truck full of sand dumped into the backyard under that tree. Well, there was a long rope hanging from the tree that we used to swing on. But we quickly figured out that it was a lot more fun to jump out of the tree house onto the rope, swing down into the sand, land in the sand. We had a blast doing it. Then later we built roads and tunnels for our little cars. When we were doing that, we had to be really careful to watch out for the deposits that Martha's many cats would make into the sand pile. Now behind our houses was a marvelous playground with endless possibilities. It consisted of a wheat field and a wooded pasture. In the wheat field, we flew kites during the winter and early spring when it was windy. But when it wasn't windy, we would shoot our bows and arrows from one end of the field to the other. And if you remember those big flocks of blackbirds we get in the winters, they would fly over, and we thought for sure we could shoot our arrow up there and knock one down. We did it over and over and over. Nary a bird ever fell down. We called the pasture the Little Woods. We made trails all through the Little Woods. Cowboys and Indians or Army were our favorite games. And they always included building a fort of some kind. One of the most memorable times was when Rucker and I played Bonanza with Roy Charles Ball. Rucker quickly declared that he was Little Joe. That left Roy Charles and I to argue over who was going to be Adam and who was going to be Hoss. That might have been the day we dreamed up our master plan to build traps sporadically along the many trails. So we spent the better part of one afternoon digging holes along the trails. Then we carefully covered over the holes with grass and straw. After that, we went back into the neighborhood and we recruited the younger children in the neighborhood and persuaded them to chase us through the little woods. So we went running down the trails, and the little kids in the neighborhood were following us and running after us, and they fell in every single one of those traps over and over. Well, we were laughing till our sides ached. Fortunately, no one got hurt. Then when we were 11 or 12, there was a terrible hailstorm in Plano. Nearly all the houses had to have their wooden shingle roofs replaced. We had been given an 8 by 10 foot hut, which was built by the Boy Scouts. Rucker and I thought it really needed a wood shingle roof. So we worked all day gathering up the scraps of wood shingles around the neighborhood, and then we started nailing them down. We even recruited the younger kids in the neighborhood to help us gather up more supplies and bring us refreshments since we were working so hard. When we finally finished, we rounded up everybody who would come to see our masterpiece. It was time to try it out. So we got out the water hose and we sprayed the roof with water. To our amazement and massive disappointment, the roof leaked like a sieve. You see, we had nailed the shingles on backwards and upside down. Everyone had a good laugh at our expense. We went away scratching our heads, wondering how we had failed so miserably. So it was about this time we started playing football, basketball, and baseball. It didn't take long for me to figure out that Rucker was a superior athlete. Playing any sport with Rucker was not for the faint of heart. The first time we played football, I was clearly not familiar with the rules. But Rucker educated me when he assessed a 15-yard penalty against me for offsides. Well, I guess he wasn't all that familiar with the rules either. But after he scored 7 touchdowns to my none, I realized I was severely outclassed. One of our best games was when we played against Cecil and Vic. on the Mendenhall playground. Rucker and I won, and Vic was clearly not happy. Of course, it was normal for Rucker to win. It wasn't long after that we began hunting and fishing and riding horses. Rucker always had the coolest toys, so it was no surprise when he got his first gun. It was a semi-automatic .22 rifle. I only had a single-shot bolt-action .22. So when we went hunting with our new guns, Rucker shot a possum about 20 times. I was only able to get off one shot. So over the years, we hunted ducks, dove, deer, rabbits, squirrels, possums, snakes, turtles, and other assorted animals and birds, and had a blast doing it every minute of the way. In the summer, we'd go fishing and water skiing. In the summer of 1972, between our junior and senior years in high school, we decided to drive up to Independence, Kansas to see our old pal Peter Reed. So we went, and Rucker's new VW was a red Beetle. And we thought we were pretty cool. We could navigate our way anywhere. But somehow it took us over 14 hours to get there because of unnecessary detours and getting lost several times. While in Independence, we went water skiing. Rucker pulled a hamstring jumping the boat's wake. With football season just around the corner, we didn't think Coach Clark was going to be very happy. And sure enough, Rucker missed some playing time in the first game. Over the years, we spent many a time at Lake Whitney, water skiing, swimming, fishing, and jumping off those huge limestone cliffs, 75 feet into the water below. It became a tradition for the Lewis family and the Williams family to celebrate 4th of July at Lake Whitney. And Rucker loved the fireworks, especially when unsupervised by adults. He would always ask me, want to have a bottle rocket war? And we did. We had one bottle rocket war after another. Then there was a time we set off whole packages of firecrackers on the marina docks. Guess I better not talk about that. After high school, we didn't see each other very often because he went to the University of Texas and I went to Texas Tech. But we stayed in touch and always got together at Christmas and in the summertime. After college, Rucker got a job with a realtor in Plano. He called and asked if I wanted to join him there. Of course I said yes. So I went down and interviewed, was offered the job, but I got cold feet later because we were having the worst slump in the Texas real estate market we'd had in years. That was in 1978. So we went our separate ways, but we always remained the best of friends. At some point after that, Rucker became very interested in golf. And boy, we played some golf. He always wanted to play a few more holes after a round. We were playing with Anson a few years ago, and we played until it was completely dark. Rucker said, let's play one more hole. But Rucker, we can't see the ball. We can't see where it lands. We're going to lose our ball. We can't see what we're doing. He said, don't worry. He said, just hit it. If we don't find it, we'll drop one down and hit another one. And we did that until we started seeing bats flying. And when the bats were flying, we decided we better get off the course. After we were both married, we stayed in touch more by phone. And I remember the calls. What? Aubrey's getting married? And later, what? Aubrey's having a baby? What? Scooter's getting married? What? Aubrey's having another baby? A boy? Aubrey's having another baby after that? Wow. Scooter's having a baby? What? And you and Mary Ann are going where? Mary Ann has done what? Are you kidding me? Tanner Lee is how old? She's doing what? Tell me again where Stephen is? Really? And Monica? She's getting married now? Wow. Recently, somebody said, Rucker was everybody's best friend. And I think that sums him up in many ways. Always quick to greet you, always with a smile and a hearty laugh, always willing to help, always telling you about his kids and grandkids. Need a bottle of wine? No problem for Rucker. He once gave me 30 bottles of wine. And he would have given me more if I would have been willing to take them. Always generous, always kind, always gentle, not a mean bone in his body. And time passed. And suddenly I realized a lifetime had gone by. My best friend was moving on to greener pastures, where there's no more pain, no more suffering, no more strife. I still can't fathom this world without Rucker Lewis in it. But I am truly blessed to have known him so well. And I trust God that we will meet again. I'm a better person for having shared his friendship. Friendships like this are rare. All of us here this evening are blessed to have had Rucker in our lives. I thank the Lord for sharing him with us.
Mine's going to be quick because that was good. Are you ready? That was. I can't follow this act, okay? But here's what all I was going to tell. I was going to tell real quickly about Rucker. When I first moved to Plano from Lubbock, and I moved to Plano, and my dad told me about this great football program, and I met him all that summer, and I was amazed at the great program and the coaches and how great these athletes were. And the first person that I found out was like the best athlete on the whole football team, and in everything that was the strongest, meanest, but the sweetest guy. But he was the one guy, Rucker Lewis, you did not want to practice. You did not want to hit him in practice. You did not want to hit him in games. And let me tell you something, if you were on the other team, you especially did not want to hit him because he would run over yourself big time, and it hurt. So I was really happy in practice that I didn't have to hit Rucker too often, and they didn't make me because it would have broken me. I'd be dead. So God bless you. God bless you, Rucker, and all your kids, family. You're awesome.
I just want to say that I hold Rucker up there with my dad and Chris. It's three of the best men I ever knew. And I love you, bud, and I'll miss you so much. So many great memories, I can't even start. But we've left, we've beat our pants, and the lake and the scallops and the clams and just so many wonderful memories. And family, I'm with you, and if you need me, let me know. Love you guys.
You know, without saying so much to the family, I just want to say that Rucker always held a great special part in my heart. He was a fierce competitor, fought all the way to the end, but the great memories that we had, especially within the last 5 or 6 years, and the things we got to do as a family. Marianne, Rucker, thank you for including Karen and I in all those camping trips and tent outings and the help with the wedding, and
there's just so much.
There's just so much to remember, and that I just hope you as a family remember that Rucker always gave everything he gave back to you guys, so that y'all would have successes down the road, and all y'all should be so proud to know that your father did everything he could through all those years to make sure you're all successful, that you're all going to be okay. And the tribute that Rucker can leave us is that, you know, everything in life, you got to continue to want and to fight for. And, you know, Rucker was that type of person that he continued to always, to the end, always fight for everything that he believed in. And he believed in the end that he'd be okay. And so that you need to make sure that you all remember that was Rucker's choice that he made, the way he decided to spend his last year. But you always have to remember that what he gave up until that time is what you need to remember. And Marianne, to you, you've been such a great inspiration to my wife. You've kind of got her out of that shell. She's so much more of a complete person because of you
and Rucker.
And thank you so much for the relationship that
you
you
shared
have,
with us.
that you have with my wife. And I just hope that you continue to share that relationship, and y'all continue to grow together as friends, and that we can continue to call you a dear friend of ours. And Rucker, we love you so much, and everyone here is so proud of you, what you've accomplished and what you brought to each one of us, to our lives and to our hearts. And we'll always remember you. And we will, next year at the Room Wide Open, raise a toast to the golf whore. And we always will remember you. We love you, buddy.
My story of Peepaw was, well, that's what I call him, was the first time he took me golfing. It was a father and son golfing tournament, but he was my grandpa, so I mean, it wasn't necessarily father and son, I don't know, but all the kids were 5 years old, and I was 8, and I was using the shortest, the shortest thing you can hit from, so I drove one all the way down and hit it into the green, and my Peepa's only done 2 holes in 1 in his entire life, and he did that on that day. It was just a really fun experience, and we ended up winning that tournament. And on that Christmas, he thought I did so good that he decided to get me some golf clubs. So, and that's one of my main memories of him, and I still have those golf clubs to the day. Thank you.
Good. At people's house, there's chickens, and I fed them some pineapples, and Peepaw was my mom's dad, and he was really awesome, but he died and went to heaven, and he had and in his house he had a cat. There's one cat that looked like Sylvie at our house, at our new house, and that's it.
Good job, Ellie. That was really good.
You can tell.
Talk about the camp. Y'all love the camp.
The camp was nice. No, the camp didn't. But Dad wasn't around as much during the camp, except for he did give away my ping pong table and my video arcade to the camp.
And then he took Steven to the bank to flirt with us.
Oh, you did. So Dad was telling his favorite stories. Why don't you tell that one?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Oh, so he was telling his favorite stories of us when we were at the house, and he goes, so I used to take Steven, there's a hot girl at the bank, and so I used to take Steven, you were really cute, by the way, when you were little, and he'd take you,
Yeah.
and he'd take you to the bank just to show you off, and he'd be like, hi, and then Steven would be like, hi, and yeah, she never, like, actually did anything, like, they didn't go out on a date or anything, but you were his, like, pawn.
Yeah.
And you said you liked the suckers.
Yeah, you got suckers every time you went.
I got suckers every time.
Probably sticker too. So,
Yeah, I went for the suckers. So.
Yeah.
You went for the suckers.
What is your favorite memory?
What's your favorite
What's
memory
your
of
favorite
Dad?
My favorite was just him swinging us on the towel. Like, you go take a bath, and then he would fold up the towel really small, and he'd swing you. And it would be like, you would feel like you're gonna fall off, or you're gonna hit the ceiling or something, but it would be so much fun.
No, it was catch the fish.
No, that was Dado.
That was Dado?
Yeah, that was Dado. Or like in the blanket where
Yeah.
you would fold you up, that was Dado.
Like Monica, his favorite story with you was about it was about well, the boat, but I remember it.
The boat. So Dad said,
Yeah.
you were like, no, I'm not going on the speedboat. No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So somehow he convinced you to get on the speedboat. And you got off the speedboat and went, oh my gosh, can we do it again?
Yeah.
You were so
She did the same thing
excited.
on a roller coaster.
Yeah, I remember going on the speedboat and going over the waves. Like, you would wait for a big boat to go by
the waves?
and go over
That
the
was
wave.
really fun.
And
Like,
then there was
tried
this
back
one time he like went as fast as he could and we hit the wave and then it just nosedived like straight into the water.
How many
And
times did we
the,
break
like,
down on that?
the boat broke down that time because the water
It
got on the
always broke
carburetor and the carburetor top like fell off. That's how he lost it that time.
Remember, like how the ski, like the water skiing rope, couldn't hit the pipes.
The pipes
of
that
the
would burn?
Yeah, it would burn
Yeah.
off,
Yes.
and then that person would just be left behind.
Do you remember when my boyfriend's family towed us in? It was an ex-boyfriend from like forever ago. It was the most embarrassing thing ever because we were broken down like of course.
Yeah.
Like every day we were broken down like. And his name was Jason Way. And Jason's Way family was out there and they came and towed us in and I was mortified. Like I couldn't believe that our boat broke down again.
The lake was a lot of fun.
But that wasn't my favorite story. What's your favorite story?
The lake, yeah, what's your favorite story?
I feel really awkward sitting up here.
My favorite story is probably Dad teaching me to drive. And because it's very similar to Stacy's story.
He just told you to do it.
Yeah, he just told me to do it. Like just to get in.
With the
and-
standard?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a standard, and he just like, hey, you push the clutch down, you do this. Like, I mean, he just
Figure it
told
out?
me, yeah, figure it out, go. And I
Maybe
got
that's where I
stuck.
get that from.
Yeah,
I do that
sounds
to
like
people all the
you.
time. I'm like, just do it. Like,
You got it.
you got it. Hey, you can swim. Just get in there.
Yeah, you won't sing.
You know,
You fly, right?
Just swim.
come to think of it, I kind of do that a little bit too.
Yeah.
To
I know.
people, I'm like, just do it.
Just ride the bike. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
it.
you got it.
Remember when you took you on the motorcycle ride for your 21st birthday?
Yes, and it was raining when we came home, and
Maybe we went to
were
a
both
casino. You went
shaking.
gambling.
Yes, and on the way home it was raining.
No, I went there.
Didn't you burn your leg on the motorcycle? Or was that a different
No,
time?
Everybody
that
did.
was dirt bike riding and.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. If you were on that motorcycle, you burn your
No, I
leg.
didn't
If you were
ride-
on
I
the
didn't
back
ride
of
the
the fat bastard,
Yeah.
you definitely
I don't
burn
think he
your
had
leg.
the Fat Bastard in it. It was still the Road King, wasn't it?
Dude, no,
Well,
it's saying
I'm just
different.
talking about
When Aubrey was 21, it was different.
Yeah.
I don't remember which
Yeah, I
one.
don't know.
That is a good memory of that I have is riding our motorcycles to Oklahoma to Oktoberfest. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds great.
Well, when I used to take baths, he used to take a bunch of bubbles and he would take my hair and he would stick it straight up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He always took my hair straight up and
Yep.
he just thought it was the funniest thing. He'd just laugh at me.
Mm-hmm.
He just loved to laugh and make things funny. A lot of good times.
I loved when he took us camping.
Mm.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Always loved camping.
That was a good time. I remember I don't know if it was him or my mom who convinced us to go across the dock to get toilet paper.
No, that was Allie and me and you.
That was us three.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
this is
that
not
was
that.
a different story. No, there was a time, it was very appropriate, we were doing the family camping across the street,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to go get toilet paper, and we had to carry it
Yep.
across.
Mm-hmm. That was Allie.
Okay.
I remember my least favorite memory was when we went
Why look at
whitewater
me?
rafting.
Why are you looking at me?
No, just because you were probably there. I'm just kidding. We went whitewater rafting
Well,
or
he took us
rafting.
to
I know,
that was so much fun.
in Tennessee.
Oh my
That was
gosh,
so
it
much
was
fun.
terrible.
Was that
Yeah.
Tennessee?
I had
on a
fun.
rock. I thought we were gonna die.
I had
Oh, it was
fun.
so much fun. Me too.
I
jumped
so
on the lake. I lost my
much.
sunglasses that were on my head though. I remember that.
I hated it so much.
Oh.
I've never gone rafting since then.
Oh,
I
Steve and I went and got
no,
on
no,
Yeah,
I
it was
hated
fun.
it.
Oh.
Did you tell your favorite memory?
I have a lot. So mooning
one.
him is one of my favorites.
Mooning
you
mooned
everybody. No, him in particular because it made him blush, and he was so uncomfortable with it. I know it's weird. It's weird. Looking back, it's really weird. But looking at it, I mean, I was just like, hey, hey. Also, so I was in 5th grade, and I was making a pyramid for school. It was like the Egyptian. I was making a pyramid, and I used to go with him to build wine displays, like goodies, I think is where it was actually at. John Goodman, was he here tonight?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, I missed him. Okay, so it churned. It was a pyramid, and it churned because it was one of his wine displays that would churn on. It was one of the coolest displays, and he helped me build it.
Aww.
And I always remember that. So, I had the second best display. Matt Dawson had the best.
Matt Dawson.
I do remember.
Second best. I'll take it.
I do remember like playing in the like boxes of the attic of the wine store.
Yeah.
Was that goodies?
It was goodies. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you go in the like the little loft thing, and there were like a bunch of
Yeah, we
boxes.
did spend a
and,
lot of time after school there.
Yeah.
At the liquor store.
A lot of time in the liquor store.
Shipley's Donuts. Shipley's Donuts
Shipley's
reminds me of him.
Donuts,
So
yeah.
I have one right next to my house, and I always tell the kids this reminds me of people. Like
Yeah.
we go to Shipley's Donuts.
The bear
Yeah,
claws.
the bear claws.
Oh, the kolaches.
Oh,
Oh yeah, he loved the clutches. I love the bear claws.
Bear claws. I like the bear
I mean, they
claws.
both did, but yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No.
I miss that guy.
I know. I don't know what else to say to the camera.
I don't know. I'm doing pretty good.
That's it.
He was a great dad.
He was.
And I think we're very lucky to have him as a dad. He was an idol to me, and I aspired to be like him. And he was always happy and positive, and everybody loved him.
Yeah.
What's one lesson that you guys learned from him?
Take life as it comes. Just go with it. Go with the flow.
Don't buy an old house and try to restore it.
He still owes me $100.
Don't buy a VCR out of the back of a truck.
Oh no, bunk bed out of the back of a truck.
Bunk bed,
He bought us
what?
bunk beds. It was rocks.
No, that's a VCR.
No, that
I thought it
too.
was a VCR.
No, it was
What?
bunk beds.
No,
It was bunk beds.
And a VCR?
I think it was both.
Our dad was a little naive and really thought the
No,
best
because
of everybody.
he thought the best of everybody.
He did.
And
He
you
thought
want to
the
believe in
best of
that.
everybody.
That's a good deal on a VCR.
$2. Not really. I have no idea how much it was.
What was your lesson from Dad?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it longer. This is an interview question.
I know. It's such a good question. He was the first one who taught me responsibility. I had a
Dad?
moment. Yeah, I took over. I know, right? Because Dad's the one who told me it's better to ask for forgiveness and permission. That was when I was older, of course. But I was like 12, I think, and I was spraying cars with the water hose as they were driving by.
Very
It's very
smart.
dangerous. Very
Mhm.
dangerous. And Dad totally busted me. And I remember him looking at me and he said, "What did you do?" And I said, well, I could tell you a lie. And he just looked at me and he said, "Go on." And I said, "I was spraying cars with water." And he goes, "That's the first time you've ever taken responsibility for your actions, young lady. I'm not going to tell your mother, and we're just going to let this one go.
Eliana,
keep taking responsibility."
come back.
So he taught me responsibility. I'll never forget that. And from that point forward, I was a little bit more honest.
I was always honest with him. I learned one time. I lied one time to him, and I got grounded for a month over spring break and couldn't talk to my friends for lying.
Time.
No, I only lied to him one time.
Oh,
I
that's
never
true.
lied to him.
That's true. You were
I would say I
honest.
was at a party and I got drunk. I did this. I did this. I was terrible.
Well, there was really no reason to lie to him
No.
because he just let you get away with most everything.
But he always had like
I mean, like
lesson
if
or
you
he'd
just
tell
told him
you.
the truth.
If you told the truth.
Yeah, if you told the truth.
If you told the truth.
Yeah, if you told the truth, he let you.
Yeah, you got in trouble for everything because you didn't tell the truth. You tried to hide it.
I didn't get in trouble from him a lot.
Steven, you talk. He loved your gold chain, right?
Yeah, your gold chain.
Yeah,
Put it
it's
out.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah,
Everybody loves it. Yeah, everybody loves it.
So,